Welcome to the Love Zone. My name is Jaluo, and it's a Tuesday. It's a grill. That means that we have a new music. You listen to a new jam today. A new song from you listen to a song from Delacy and G-Eazy. The song was called "Cruel Intentions." We also have acoustic Tuesday, acoustic jams in the next hour, and plus we're going to talk about very interesting stuff. It's a grill, and tonight I have two individuals married. I've never experienced this, by the way. Never experienced having a married couple in the studio, and we have Dixon.
Yes, Dixon Mushabe.
Dixon Mushabe, and yes, the wife, who is Doreen Mushabe, right?
Yep.
And tonight we have a very interesting topic, and this emanates from something that has been trending on social media. And this lady, I think I should play it. Yeah, I should play it. Her name is Cynthia Ndagire. She plays a very interesting clip that has been making around. Take a listen to this.
So hi, my name is Cindy, and I'm here to decode for you something very simple. Men usually say don't ever let broke women guilt trip you into buying them stuff or giving them a lifestyle them themselves they can't afford, right? Now ladies, a small reminder. Do we need men? No. What does that make men? It makes them accessories. What are accessories supposed to do? When you're putting on like a cool outfit and you feel like you need to accessorize, what does that mean? It means you want to look more bougie, you want to look cuter, you want it to elevate your entire outfit into something else, right? If a man is not elevating you, throw the whole man away. Anyway, if you're driving a Beats in 2018 and you've been dating the man and you're still driving a Beats, you see what I'm saying? They did not elevate you. If you were sleeping in a 500,000 apartment in 2019 and you're still living in the same apartment and you have a man, if you were having braids that are box braids, the cheap ones, and you still cannot have the Brazilian, if I can go on and on.
Yeah, she goes on and on. Yeah, she goes on and on, and it's quite interesting. Someone tagged me, another person tagged me, the third person tagged me, and I had to check out this clip. And it boils down to expectations. Most of us long for that sense of love and acceptance. A desire to be in an enduring, committed partnership with someone we love. And the majority of the thoughts, feelings, and ideas we have about family and relationships have been guided by what we have seen in movies, for example, read in books, seen from our parents, or had about through generational tales of soulmates and love. And it's also partly to do with different conditioning as men and women. As a woman, you are conditioned to expect certain things from a man, and as a man, you're also conditioned to, there's something that you'll always expect from a woman. So the conversation today will surround that, expectations in relationships. And my first question is to the lady. What do you think about the clip? Is it unrealistic? Is it real? What do you think about that?
Okay, thank you. I think she's speaking from her own experience and perception, and that's her opinion, which has been shaped by very many things, probably from her experience, her parenting at home, peers, and different parts of life. But that's not the status quo for every lady. So from my own expectation or experience, I would say I have a very different view altogether. And
I want us to talk about expectations in general. Dixon, I'm very sure you understand. Do you think people should have expectations? Like, is it normal to have expectations?
Very normal, absolutely.
It's very
normal. Yes.
So where do we draw the line? Where do we say that this is realistic and this is unrealistic?
Okay, thank you. Good evening, listeners. It's quite. It's when you're starting a relationship, for example, it's very easy to, and it's okay to expect, to be expectant, of Dixon is supposed to do this, the wife is supposed to maybe do this. But where you draw the line is as you date or as you relate, you look at each other's strengths. And you realize that actually what you're trying to look out for in this man or in this woman is actually not there, even if you travel to where. So how do you start to how do you start to over expect too much from something you actually see that it don't what? It will not happen.
Is it unrealistic that she wants a guy who will elevate her? Like she's saying that if you're driving a Vitz in 2019, in 2020, if you have a guy, you shouldn't be driving a Vitz. If you're staying in a house that the rent is 500.
Yes.
And when you're with this guy, the rent should be 1 million.
Okay, let me take it this angle. What's the SI unit of life? Is the next car the best success you'll ever have in life? Or when she gets that Land Rover or Prado after the Vitz, would she have arrived? Would she have finished? Or she'll still hope to get another guy to give her a Range Rover to give her? So what's going to happen at the end of the day? Are you going to hope from one guy to another? When will you all be satisfied that this is the guy now? Do you want a chopper? Then you will know that now I actually have the guy I want.
Doreen, I'm very sure that when you're dating this guy, you guys have been together for a minute.
We've been married 11 years.
11 years.
And dated 7 before marriage. Yeah, straight from campus. So that's about 17 years.
17 years. Yeah, and I know that through, I think, conditioning, you've seen what your dad has done for your mom and whatnot. So there are certain things you expected. Was it always like that? Was it always like a smooth road? I know right now, 17 years, I've read your profile. You're someone who's successful in the industry. Where, by the way, she's a banker. Was it always smooth?
Okay, we started off at university. Sorry, and when we finished university, I got a job in Standard Chartered Bank, and he was self-employed, but not loaded completely. Yes,
bro.
Yes, and if he's to share, by the way, I think financially, I was maybe 3 times earning more than he was actually making.
Wow.
Yes.
But in terms of expectation in a relationship and value systems, I was looking for something different. It wasn't about the next car, the next house, the next anything. I was looking at love. I was looking for a different story. I wasn't looking for a father or a sponsor for a relationship. For me, that wasn't the major. I know that we can always make that money. We can always buy these things.
So what was different? What was so different in your relationship?
I looked at him and I could see responsibility. I could see that we were still at campus, but he had figured out to start work. And so there was that enterprising skill happening. I could see that even if the worst came to the worst, we won't sleep hungry. He had a sense of responsibility and desire to work and provide for a home. So I felt there was a certain security in that, even when I was not seeing anything on the plate yet. Yes, so for me that was sufficient.
So where do women go wrong? Where does it become so misguided?
I think, one, I feel like it becomes a rat race because you can never satisfy those desires. Today there is Brazilian, tomorrow there is Mongolian, another day there is Japanese, I don't know. Like the ones keep changing every day. The cars come out every day. So if it's just about material satisfaction, I feel like for me that is really a raw deal for me. It's quite shallow. There is much more in that I can benefit in this unity of working together. I feel like that is just a result of the unity. When we are two, we are definitely going to harvest at some point, because now whatever it is, we are joining hands together. If it's a burden, we are sharing into two. So my perception is totally different. It's not that I'm looking out for what is in it for me, how I should get the next. No, it's not about just me, but how do we together have a more beautiful life. It's much easier, the two of us. So if he does not have money, it's an opportunity for me to actually be able to provide in that particular time. I look at it in that way, that
In that sense,
that
yeah.
have become useful, in short, helpful. So I'm actually thinking, if I'm in something and totally I don't put anything to the table, I actually feel like, of what use in my world am I
Next
adding?
question, the next question that we were talking about, and I want Dixon to contribute in this one,
Okay.
is in regards to a woman's dynamic in a relationship. Like, what should a woman bring on the table? We'll be getting into that in a minute. Coming up, this one's called Cruel by Jeff Bonnet. We love it. Jeremy Zucker, not your friend, playing in your home today's best music clip into Sanyo Fam. Welcome back to the Love Zone. We're talking about expectations in relationships, and this is in regards to a clip that has been trending about this lady who says that, yo, if I want this, I will get it. So my question, I wanted Dixon to get into this. By the way, we have Dixon and we have
Doreen.
Doreen, yeah. Dixon and Doreen, sorry for that. They're a married couple. They have been together for 17 years. 17 years, my guy.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
good. So, misguided expectations.
Yes.
And coming from a guy's point of view.
Yes.
You know, do you feel sometimes women like expect too much from a man?
I thank you so much for the question. I don't know if I don't know if all the listeners have gone to church and said those vows. When you're saying those vows, there are some words which actually, if you don't want to do, you just not even wait. Because you say, all I have, I give. All I am. And you've called everyone in the congregation in front of God, tell them that all I have, all you are, you give. Everything of mine is
yours.
So when does that vow change?
But you know, I'll rebuttal that by telling you that I've always felt like those vows are very like they're threatening. Like you're telling me, and I feel honestly from a personal point of view, when I listen to people read those vows, I always feel like that they have to do it because it was said that they have to read those vows, and to a certain extent, I feel like it's unrealistic.
I hear you. We all have different opinions, and that's fine. But back to the point of discussion. Expectations. Yeah. As a man, I expect a helper. I expect a helper in everything. By the way, yes, I'll be the head. I know my role.
50-50?
No, I'll be the head. I know that I'll be the head. Plan. We'll plan together. But whatever happens, I'm the guy that everything runs to at the end of the day.
Now I want to ask you this. She mentioned something very interesting. There was a point where she was making dime. You were trying.
I was trying.
You were trying.
Yes.
How was it? How does it feel like a man? You're dating this woman who you want to marry.
Yes.
And she's making twice as much as money as compared to you.
Twice, yeah.
So
it was me. It was a company startup. So really, sometimes there was even nothing. But here
there was nothing.
Here she was earning. But you see, I did not stay home, or I did not stay home and fail to go to look for work. I gave her hope that by the one day, all these things I'm working, one day, we shall be fine. And women, by the way, let me tell you guys, what they want is assurance. What they want is assurance that, by the way, yes, this is just seasonal. I'm not where I want to be, but trust me, where we are heading.
I'm sorry to catch you, but I will. I want to ask you this question from a woman's point of view. You know, women have time limits. There's a biological clock. There's societal pressures where she has to get married. Woman is not like you. She has to get to have kids at a certain time.
Yes.
So, like, for how long? For how long should a woman wait for you to? Maybe it was cower. You achieved your goal already at a good time. So for how long should a woman wait? This guy, he has had potential. he is, he seems to be a good guy, but the dime is not coming. The money is not coming.
Yes, actually that happens, and it's even, I think it's happening today and tomorrow. It's still going to happen. There are guys, nice, hardworking, with beautiful working ladies earning more money, and somehow of course the ladies' clock is ticking, and even that, it's because of peer pressure in the world that makes it tick. And how I wish everyone would hold their peace and mind their business, but it doesn't happen. So here is the guy, and whose girlfriend's clock is ticking, and someone is trying to make ends meet, trying to look for money, and he cannot get it in time. How are they communicating? If their goal is work towards marriage, do they want to first build? Because a woman will say, no, let's build together. Let's wed and build together. So it depends on how they communicate. How they communicate.
And during that time, I'm very honest, during that time, communication somehow dies, because she's paying the bills, she's paying the bills. She comes back home, you want her to assume wifely roles, you want her to cook and whatnot. Subconsciously, a woman thinks, I should not be doing this. I pay the bills and you want me to do all these things. So the communication, to a certain extent, gets eroded. And Doreen, this next question is for you. What are some of the things that women need to put into consideration when thinking about their expectations? Like, what are some of the things? I was reading something to do about expectations, and this person was talking about needs and wants. Like, what do this is my need, this is my want. And this person was explaining this by saying that most of what women want are so egocentric. I need this, but I want this. But in reality, you don't really actually need it. For example, a woman knows the guy is not earning well, doesn't have good money, but the woman will say that I want a house in 2 months.
Yes.
How do you differentiate between reality and realistic expectations and realistic expectations?
Okay, thank you. I think I'll still share from my own experience. Dixon said he wanted to build a house before marriage, and there was no money. And so we dated for 7 years. So in those 3 years you're at campus, 4 years later, if your friends are getting married, maybe from the time you leave campus, 4 years later he's telling me, he needs to build a house. When I did my realistic projections based on how much was coming through at that point, I didn't see a house coming nearby through his channel, but I was already earning. And so because I had seen something more than I could see, he has a future in terms of being entrepreneur, if we are to speak about it financially. So about the other values, that he's of my same faith, his same tribe, he's educated.
Those are very important.
Yes.
Same faith.
Yes,
tribe,
yes. So that is
right?
affecting my decision making, because in terms, you're thinking, okay, if we need to agree on certain things, cultures, some heartaches that I want to avoid at some point. So that was it. Faith, it's non-negotiable. So everything was ticking. But when we came financially now, we are now 7 years into and there is no sight. But I could see all the other places are making sense. This particular one, I'm also working. We can make it together. And when through communication, as he said, I realized that for him, building is really an important thing as himself. So I said, okay, if she's building, let's start to buy land. Okay?
That was a realization that you came up with.
Yes, I noticed that it was a very important thing in his life to be able to have a home before he even starts discussing the marriage things, because it kept coming up. So you need to listen in. At that point, I would have dropped him and say, he can't afford and what, and then I would have missed out an important gem or personality in my own life, because he's been such a great husband for me. So I feel like you can miss out on a person because of those different things. So for me, I could see through that. And when I saw it was important, I said, okay, let's save towards this, because I was still at my father's house. And we bought the land, actually, where we stay right now.
When were you doing this? Were you consulting your parents?
Oh, yes.
They know?
Yes, my
And what were they saying?
Yes.
You're helping this guy build a house. He's not married yet, you know.
Yes, but at that point I'm thinking this is a beautiful love experience for now. And of course the feedback was, you know, you could buy this land and he chucks you tomorrow and what. But I'm thinking if he has only seen in me land now, then he will miss more of me, because I'm not just land. So for me, that was the perception. That property is not really the issue. There is much more in me than just that property. Yeah. So that is what happened.
And I'm thinking the one question that most women want to know is, how do you tell? How do you tell this is the guy? This is that I should stay with this guy? And you know, there's a woman who was asking, should women lower the expectations to find love? Should I? I'm at a level where my money is not there. I am making money, and I want a guy who is ready made.
Yeah, but you see, with money, you can't guarantee. You see, that's the reality of life. Today, we've had some very good times in our marriage, where at some point he did work. I think in our like our 5th year of the marriage or 6th year, he made money on one work IT deal that when I totaled my salary since I started work, it couldn't match.
And I know so many couples that actually.
So in just one deal, and it for me it really baffled. It's not that I even expected it ever to appear in life, but the way it came up, I could not believe that in just one deal it can outweigh my 10 years of work experience financially. So if I had said so much or whichever, or you know, there is much more in it. So I think to be alert and not miss out on some of these things. You're working, so for me, finances, I don't think that's an issue for me. It's really not an issue. If the gentleman is aware that he needs to work and you see he's genuinely putting his best foot forward, it's to listen in. During that time, he shared different business ideas, and I would say, okay, what did you see? Let's see the business plan. Let's evaluate. Okay, let me put this money in and we see how far it can go. What about the repayments? How are they coming? So
you share a lot?
Yes, we do. We are talking.
Very open, right?
Yes. So we are talking, and when there is a date, you know, we need to get money. So
because most people, and now I attack the guys, most guys will have a debt than I did. And I blame this conditioning. You're a man, you're supposed to handle it, you know. There are people who actually take loans and their wives don't know.
Yes, yes.
And they're doing this to keep up appearances. Like she cannot know that I'm I'm doing badly. I have to, because of pressures.
Me, how I understand home, or how I understand, or I want to build my family to be. I like it to be a place where I go and find peace. It's the only place where I can be vulnerable. It's the only place where I can be vulnerable to my children, to my wife, and in and around home.
The reality also, so many guys. Yeah, I've talked about it in different forums about how the home should be a safe environment.
Yes. Yeah. So I need to be able to go home and pour out everything to my wife.
Wow.
Because I know actually the world will judge you. The world will judge you. Any slight will judge you. She might, but she's your wife at the end of the day. So when I go home, I need to be able to open up, and my life is like an open book. If she knows my account, she has keys to my ATM,
password,
she has my password, she has everything, because God forbid if anything happens to me, the only person who should not run mad, only person who should not be stranded is
Should be
her.
And you know,
Yes.
you're getting into something very important, and I talked about it somewhere about succession planning and
Yes.
how men hide so many things, and in the case of something, something goes wrong,
Yes.
their wives find it so hard to access their accounts.
Yes.
They don't know what to do. So many things come up, and you've talked about something very interesting. Coming up, Mahalia, this one's called "What You Did," or "Beloved." Alicia Cara, this one's called "October," playing in your home, today's best music here, producer. And you've had very interesting conversations about expectations, when you're in a relationship. And we have a married couple here, and they've been giving us their story. We have Dixon and Doreen. So I wanted to ask Dixon, the pillars, like, what is, if you were to mention the pillars that are, that have held you together, what are some of the things that you can tell, a couple, a new couple, guys who are struggling, some advice?
Okay, thank you so much. The pillars. Let me start with communication. To me, it all starts with communication. If I don't say it, she will not assume it. So I must say it. It doesn't matter when and how, but I should be able to tell her, talk to her, and basically have an open conversation, not judge her. I can add more about communication, but I want to. Anything I need to add is, may I always put myself in her shoes.
Do you ever disagree? Disagreements?
Yes. But let me talk about putting myself in her shoes. I usually ask myself, Dixon, what if it's you? What if it's Doreen? It's you, Doreen, and her, Dixon, is doing this to you. How would you feel? I get my answer there and then. If I feel like if she said this to me, I would be hurt, then why would I say it to her? So me, I put myself in her shoes all the time and every time. And it has helped me. Well, maybe there are some things I could have said, some things I could have done, but because I know they would hurt her or they would hurt our marriage, definitely I would not do them. Yes.
Doreen.
Thank you.
Now, I want you to talk to the girl child, the females, and in regards to expectations, like your final opinion.
Okay, I think it's to look for a place where, as a girl, you're complete and confident in who you are and what God has put in you at that level. When you're full, then you don't look for it in another person to fill you up, because it's such a very high expectation to find in man. You'll find that every time he falls short, because that's not what he's supposed to be doing in your life. Yes, so find that place where you just love me for me, love who you are, and be confident in that, and know that you can do it. You can be able to achieve your individual purpose in life. So regarding marriage is for two. It's for doing life together. So you're not using it as an opportunity to get your own selfish motives and personal gains, but rather you're in there to support and work together in a partnership to create a very beautiful family, so that both of you can live life more beautifully. So in me, I'm looking out for, how can I minister to Dixon? How can I love him more? How can I show him more? The result of loving him more, those are the harvest is able to manifest on its own. For me, my role as a complete woman and a complete child of God, in that love within me, as it pours out, then I'm able to happily settle in and beautifully love this marriage happily. So yeah, I'm in it, and the harvest of love and fulfillment, those are all results of this relationship. But the foundation has been, we are friends. We were on campus, so we said we dated 7 years, we are now into marriage 11 years. So it's been friendship, and not expecting too much of another. This is a lot of expectation, to want Dixon, every year to do what. You can't. It's not achievable. I gave him an example. If assuming by end of this year I'm the ED or MD of my bank, or I don't know, of World Bank. You can't just manage the financial rat race. You can't say every time he's going to be ahead, or it's an ending.
Very few women like you.
Yeah. So I think the girl child needs to not look for that satisfaction in a man, because that void can only be satisfied in God. But to look at when you get a partner or a husband, it's to do life together. So yes, if it's financial, beautiful. If you have money, praise the Lord, there is money for us to use in a home. If you don't have, praise the Lord still. Let's pray and believe God. What can we do? Let's work together. I find that very unfortunate for your spouse, you're in the same house and he's borrowing for school fees, when as a wife you have money for school fees. It's
that happens?
Yes, every day it happens. Yeah,
wow.
so.
It's interesting. You know, mine is very simple. I say the same thing, you know. A guy's dynamic in a relationship is not to be your father, your butler, or your bank account. It's been great, people. Yeah, thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Coming up, we have Acoustic Tease, the Pillow Talk coming up. Stick around.